Lisa, would you have a roll call, please?
Yes. Judge Deskins,
Here.
Magistrate Anderson,
Here.
Magistrate Johnson, Magistrate Murphy, Magistrate Robinson, Magistrate Dodson,
Here.
Magistrate Varney.
Here. Leo, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Jeff, how you doing?
All right. Approval of the minutes of August the 15th, 2017.
Motion.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson, Magistrate Johnson, shoot, Magistrate Murphy, Magistrate Robinson, Magistrate Johnson.
Here.
God, done got me confused, Dodson, thank you. Magistrate Varney,
Here.
Judge Deskins.
Here.
We're saying here.
All right.
Everybody's here.
Special guests, Tony Tackett.
Good morning, Judge and Magistrates. Thank you for allowing us to speak today. Once again, we want to thank you for all your help and work with making sure the Heritage Days is a success and continues. A few things we want to bring to your attention. Of course, we could never do what we do without you and the county workers. Paul, Jeannie, all of you have been amazing, all the way from the state fair to every project that we ever have our hands on. Our summer has turned out wonderful. We've had great attendance when it comes from our motor coaches, and of course we're moving forward for 2018 and 19 real diligently after those motor coaches and conferences and conventions. But today I wanted to not only thank you for your work and your participation in the Heritage Days, which is coming up this weekend, but I also wanted to remind you of a couple events that I would love to see some of you out at. This Friday, we will unveil the new marker for Colonel Deals. That marker will be on Main Street in front of in the front lawn of the York House. That marker is one of the last markers that Nancy Forsythe, historian Nancy Forsythe, has worked on. I believe after the presentation and after next week, Miss Forsythe will reside in Florida. But saying that, she has been in West Virginia in a care center. We've been in constant contact with her and the family to make sure that this happens before her move. So this Friday, what will kick off Heritage Days is the unveiling of that historic marker for Colonel Deals. Colonel Deals, the cemetery itself does have a marker, but Colonel Deals personally does not have a marker. So that will kick that off. Of course, Pikeville Main Street Live will be that evening, and then we will move on over to Saturday morning at Pikeville Farmers Market. That afternoon, we're gracious enough to have you as a host to host the theater, and Stephanie is here. I'd love for her to just conversate about that and any needs that she would have to make that happen.
I think we're in very good shape for the Saturday performance at 3 o'clock of Blood Song, the Hatfield and McCoy story. And we're excited to bring that to Pikeville so people who haven't gotten to see it can come see it here, and hopefully that'll increase the traffic over to McCarr at the Hatfield and McCoy Park. I think all of our actors are set. I think our set people are working on what we need to do, and I think we'll be ready by Saturday.
What's the charge, Stephanie?
$10. $10, and all proceeds go to the Hatfield McCoy Arts Council. Anybody have any questions?
Is it going to be here in the courtroom?
It is. And I want to give credit to John Doug Hayes. It was his idea probably 4 years ago, and we've been working on it. That's all I've got.
You know, many other things will be going on. That evening, the annual dinner for the descendants will take place at Bob's Smokehouse. On that Sunday morning, Bob Scott will host us at the well site, the home place of the McCoys. with an annual church service. The Hatfield and McCoy descendants will be conducting that church service along with Jessica Gillum, Jason Goebel, and Troy Burchett doing music. Church service starts at 11 a.m. And then, of course, prayer service and singing starts at 10 a.m. So 10 a.m. is singing and prayer. 11 o'clock starts the church service. Also, I wanted to, just so you know, in with the ARC grant that we received this prior year, our goal with that was to get all the material that we could for marketing, social media, advertising, television commercials, all and everything. So this weekend, starting on Friday, we will be filming every bit of our days, 10, 12-hour days. That's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Blood Song in this courtroom will be taped for future marketing for Stephanie and the Arts Council. The church service, everything we do this weekend will be taped, which means more feet, more hands on the ground. Film crew is coming out of Charleston, West Virginia, which are the caretakers of that filming of that grant. So Paul and his staff, county government, have been diligent, not only making sure that every prospect of any part of this festival and this filming goes as needed, but I would not be diligent in my job if I didn't once again thank you. Several of you have seen the State Fair photos, posts, videos. When we go out and connect with 600,000 people, as we did at the State Fair, I think the attendance this year was 630,000. Our main goal is to tell people about our story, about our mountains, about our culture and heritage. But the greatest part about my job is to be able to showcase our own people, all the way from the Arts Council of the Heritage Group, all the way to singers, songwriters, all the way to musicians, singers, acoustic guitar players. Hand-to-eye artists were represented at our booth this year. And the greatest thing I can tell you, it would not be any way possible if it was not for this physical court. So once again, I want to thank you for partnering, being diligent, and anything we can do for you, we are a call away.
Hey, Tony, real quick before you leave, Bob, him and I know you're going to talk about this, but I'm going to go ahead and start talking about it if you don't care. But I wanted to tell Tony something before we got into it. Bobby and Hillman and myself and a couple people went to Pocahontas, Virginia last week and spent a day down there viewing their exhibition and their ATV trails. But I wanted to tell you, as we was eating lunch, all the counties that was represented was in a room. And we was going over some of the things that we got going in our county and things that we're kind of proud of and things we're trying to get started up. But the number one thing that everybody agreed on is you represent this county and the city well. When your name come up, everybody there praised you for the job that you do. I know you work hard. I know you work for very little too. And sometimes we take jobs just to get a job done. And I think you needed to know that. When your name come up, they was all very, very proud of you. Everybody there knew you, and everybody had just nothing but kind things to say about you.
Well, you know, I will tell you this today and 100 years before and 100 years after, there's no I in this team.
Now, Hillman, take over and talk a little bit about what
Well,
was
you know, Tony, we had several counties represented that day, from Lawrence, Johnson, Martin, and all the way down to Harlan County. And they agreed that we need to meet in different areas at different times. And did they set a date for the next meeting, Brian, or do you remember?
I think the next meeting is October 28th, ain't it, Bobby? Ain't that?
28th, he popped up on something, and that might have been it. I haven't got my calendar with me.
But they were wanting to come to each county and meet like we did in Pocahontas. And with the reception that they gave us in Virginia, you couldn't be asked to be treated no better, you know, as far as what they had to show, and their cabins and their trails and everything they have there is what we have here. I mean, there's nothing no different. It's coal towns, and they just turned it into some trails, and some private people went in and they opened up campsites and cabins, and they do it all. And that one lady told us that took us through the coal mines that some months she has as high as 4,000 people tour that little mines, and it's $10 a pop. So, you know, we can do the same thing here with your help, and me and Brian talked this week. You know, we had a meeting over at the hog trial about, what, 2 months ago?
Yes.
And we talked about some things with Paul on getting some electricity and some water and things in there. And I think it's time that we move and start doing some of these things while we can. And we appreciate you and Stephanie and Jay and all the work you do. And don't want to leave Sandy out. You know, she plays a big part, and she was probably instrumental in getting the cabin built. You know, Sandy, without you getting the funds there, I don't believe the cabin would have been built. And we don't want to forget you and your group. But I think it's time that we start moving. Our trail system is looking really good with the law that was just passed, House Bill, what was it, 135, and giving the landowners the use of their property, and they won't be charged with any damages. So, you know, I think that we probably, you said a while ago, we need to meet again, and you just let us know when, and we'll try to do another meeting and follow up. And I've already give Paul some things to put into the cabin, and I'm hoping that we can get some security system set up. Jack Blackman has got a bunch of stuff he wants to put in there once we get security in there.
Yes.
And Stephanie, we want to thank you for your performance this summer, and we appreciate you didn't leave us out over there in Blackberry, and I think we've got a lot of potential in that little area there. And me and Brian and some of the magistrates have talked about some things we would like to see happen over there, and we're going to get with Sandy and try to get some grants and do our boat ramp and maybe do some cabins. And, you know, we've got water and sewer there. We could probably put some campsites in there. A lot of things we can do, and we just want to thank y'all for your hard work, and I think that's our future, is our tourism.
What time Friday is at the cemetery, Tony?
This Friday at the York House on Main is at 4 o'clock. The Forsyth family will be there. The State Historical Society will be there. They will unveil the marker at 4 p.m. this Friday in the York property. I think it's 243 Main Street. And then the rest of the evening will be Pikeville Main Street Live and several other things going on. And then Saturday's full blast and Sunday. Would love to see any of you over at the well site for church service Sunday morning. Bob has been working all week to make sure that property is ready for you. We're going to be working in the next couple of days getting a few things over to the hog trial cabin to make sure that it is presentable, fresh mums on the porch, a few things like that.
Tony, I got one other thing I wanted to bring to your attention. Jim Bevins is working on a 21 county meeting over at Runyon School on, what is it, 24th
of October.
It's,
Whatever that Saturday is.
it's on a Saturday. I think it's the 23rd or 24th, whatever that day is. 21st? Okay. But he's working with the government's office, and they've got a pretty good schedule set up, don't you, Brian? And they're going to have like the 21 counties and have a breakfast for all the judges that morning, and then they're going to do a trail ride that day and go over into the Blackberry-McCarr area from over in the Stone area. And hopefully, you know, we'll have a good turnout there that day. And he's working hard on getting some people to sign off on these agreements to ride on their property. But if you could advertise that some for us, I'll get the information from Jim, what the schedule is, and maybe we can put together a pretty good day that day.
All right. We should be able to do a flyer, a rack card, and maybe spend some money on social media to make sure we get it out to our local people also. Anything we can help with that breakfast that morning, provide some Southern country music of some type, maybe to open it up just for, while conversation is going on between people having breakfast. Whatever we can do, and we will, and if we need to be there, we will be there to help support and give ideas.
We've got a bluegrass concert planned that night up on the hill too, that evening, so.
Who's doing that, Bobby?
Pardon?
Yeah, who'll be up there singing, you know?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Danny Brandon, if you can catch it.
Danny.
No, I don't know.
I think Danny'd be a good choice.
He's putting that together, Jimmy is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony, and
I have a couple more things. I need to know who might be my contact person getting ready for Saturday. So if I need a ladder, something like that, who would I contact?
Keith Hall? Just joking. Probably Paul Williamson.
Okay.
Paul, get Paul's
Thank you.
contact information before you leave.
And I want to make sure that everybody knows we really want you to come and see the play. It is the official play for the state of Kentucky regarding the feud. And hopefully we get to drop that tagline soon.
Good.
Thank you.
thank you to Stephanie. All right.
Who has public comment?
For approval and discussion, acknowledgement of receipt of the Pike County Sheriff's settlement for 2016 property tax.
Motion.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes. Acknowledgement of receipt of the 2017 tax rate from the Pike County Extension District Board. I need a motion to acknowledge.
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson? Yes. Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes. All right, acknowledgement of receipt of the Pike County Public Library District 2017 Kentucky Annual Report of Public Libraries. I need a motion in a second.
Motion. Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes. Acknowledgement of receipt of the 2017 tax rate from the Pike County Public Library District. I need a motion.
Motion. Motion.
So do I have a second? Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Is this tax rate an increase from last year's? It is?
On which one, Bobby? Let me look at it.
I think all we do is recognize it, ain't it?
I don't-
They set the rate, we just acknowledge it.
We just acknowledge it. Yeah, we don't approve it.
I have no approval on no tax rate, and I'm not gonna approve no tax rate. Okay.
Not for the library, no.
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes. All right. Approval of new 2018 lease, Pro 4471 with the Finance and Administration Cabinet, Department of Facilities and Support Services for property located on 36 Mingo Street, Phelps Courthouse, Phelps, Kentucky, Cabinet for Health and Family Services. Brian?
This is just, we got several of these. I'll go ahead and talk about them all.
This is for the families and children, not the
Yeah.
courthouse in the
Right,
old
but-
fire station there.
Yeah,
Phelps.
this is property the county owns. There's 5 of these on this agenda, Judge, and I'll just go ahead and touch on all 5 real quick. The first one is over in the Phelps area. We receive $1,350 per quarter, $5,400 per year. That's recurring every year. Numbers hasn't changed. The second one is basement floor of the Pike County Courthouse for the Department of Corrections. It's $1,030 per quarter, $41.20 per year, same numbers as last year. The third one would be the Cabinet for Health and Family Resources. It's located on US 119, the Belfry Courthouse, Bobby. There's a no charge for that. The fourth one would be the third floor of the Pike County Courthouse. It's the Probation and Parole office. It's $1,319.99 per month, $15,839.88 per year. That's the same numbers as last year. Going to ask to approve this, but I think the magistrates and people know we are actively talking with Probation and Parole, moving into the old Hall of Justice building on the 3rd floor. They've come, they've looked at it. There's some remodeling we have to do. It's the old Anna Pinson clerk's office facility. We've got the blueprints. We're trying to get quotes on what that facility is going to cost. I think this is something that's going to occur. If they do decide to take the lease on the 3rd floor, there's more rent coming in on a monthly basis. I can't remember right off the top of my head. I think it doubles what we just talked about here. More space, more money. Just wanted to let y'all know that. The 5th one is the State Police Firing Range up on Island Creek. There's a no charge for that. So that's the next 5 things on the agenda. Maybe need a motion and a second to
Motion.
all 5 of them.
Roll call, please. Doug.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
You start there.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Desky?
Yes. Adoption of a resolution for approval of a lease for the financing of 10 Mack trucks and the authorization to execute various documents related to such lease. Brian?
Well, I think the magistrate understands that. That's that Mack purchase that we just.
The lease.
The lease on what we took down. It's just authorizing the judge to sign off on the lease. We've already got the other trucks at the auction. Yeah, so I don't think we've got back what the auctions today, so at the next court meeting, we'll be able to know what our trucks brought. I know there was a lot of debate on we're taking it to the fall auction instead of the spring auction, and we may not get as much out of our trucks as we normally do in this auction. But my understanding, these Mack trucks we deliver to the auction, there's not a lot of them trucks in demand this year because a lot of the trucks are in Texas and Florida working, and we believe that we'll come out pretty good on our auction. We're anticipating higher auction numbers, but that's what that is.
Brian, how are we going to get back on track with getting our trucks down there in the first part of the year? I mean, are we going to go 6 months or a year from now?
I think
What's your plans on that?
If I remember right, I think you guys made a motion to
Yeah.
sell them at the
6 months.
spring auction.
the last court meeting, we voted this, yeah.
So we're on a 6 months lease.
Right now.
Yeah, these trucks will be sold in the spring and in May, and then from there, you'll go back onto a 1-year cycle again after that, and it'll get us lined up.
So the money we just borrowed is going to be for 6 months, or is that for a year?
The kind of clear it up, Frankie, I know there's a little confusion on this. I've had a couple of people ask me. I mean, these trucks are like any other lease that you go and you lease. I mean, it matures at a maturity date, and we can go 6 months, we can go 2 years, we could go the term of the lease. It's just up to us. We choose to do it every year so we can drive the demand on the auction to get reimbursed back for our trucks. I mean, we never have to auction them off.
Well, my question was, Brian, are we going to return these trucks in 6 months.
That would be,
Will we have to refinance the other trucks when we pick them up? And
yeah,
so we're doing a 6 months,
right.
Lease is gonna be a year, but when you sell the truck, you'll pay the lease off.
But, right.
Yeah.
The interest for those other 6 months you won't incur because you paid it off.
Right. So, but yeah, him in 6 months.
but the money that we're borrowing right now is gonna be for 6 months, right?
Yeah,
Right, if you sell them in the spring, it'll be for 6 months.
yeah. Okay. Motion.
I need a second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Tedeschi?
Yes. Adoption of a resolution for approval of a municipal lease for the financing of 5 vehicles and the authorization to execute various documents related to such lease. Need a motion.
Motion.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Tedeschi?
Yes. Approval of a 1-year lease with Z-Wave.
What this is, guys, Justin, I'm probably gonna need your help. If you can, come up here and sit at the mic. I'll let you get into what Zyway is, but before you get into it, I kind of give an update and talk to the magistrate about what we're trying to get accomplished here. Just to let you know, our workers' comp that we pay here at the county annually is about $850,000. That's what we pay annually to provide workers' comp to our workers. What we pay for all other insurances, our property evaluations and other insurance claims is $779,000, which makes up $1.6 million annually. Now, that being down from the work that this court did last year, last year we took our auto values down 7.2 million, which gave us a 53% decrease in our auto values. We lowered our full-time employees 43%, which helped our workers' comp. Our workers' comp 2 years ago was a lot more than the 845. What this Zyway is, it's, Justin, if you don't care, kind of.
Ours is a little bit different. So it happens. What Zywave actually does is it's going to give me the ability to do a couple different things. One, it's going to give me the ability to track all of our incoming losses and build a future EMOD, which is impacting us right now. When you look at our EMOD, it's 1.63. Okay, that 6.3 is an increase of 63% on your base premium. Okay, so based on that number, we really should be paying about $520,000 based on our payroll as it exists today. And instead, we're paying $845,000. Okay, and the way that is calculated is they take every county government across the state of Kentucky, and they take every loss, all the losses over about a 5-year period, and combine them into an average loss based on your payroll. All right? Well, when they do that, what Zywave does is it gives me the ability to see all that, to see the average loss. It gives me a target of a number to shoot for to control that premium. Secondly, it's going to give me the ability to tell you about what our workers' comp is going to be, so you can actually budget for that as a hard number. This is what it's going to be. But third, it's going to also give me the ability to negotiate with CAECO on a reduction, on a credit on your workers' comp premium. So you're actually going to get money back by giving me the ability to do that at a possibility.
So if we get this Zyway in, we get it in place and we start working towards our workers' comp, I feel confident that we could go straight to our provider and say with Zyway in, we want a 5% deduction on our workers' comp next year. And if we can get a 5% deduction on a workers' comp, that's a savings of $42,000 instantly. Now, there's a couple more things that this court needs to take in consideration. Me and Justin's been working on this for well, it goes back several months now. The county code, one of the things that we don't have in our county code is return to work, which is a light duty. You know, I'm not saying that people that workers that has major injuries needs to come back to work. But Justin talked about our EMOD, and it's right now currently 1.63. What that means is we're paying 0.63% more than what we should be. If we had a return to work policy in our code, people that has a sprained ankle or sprained foot or whatever, right now, the doctors of Pike County doesn't have an option to send them back to the county on light duty. So they go home and they're on workers' comp. You know, if we had the light duty, they could come in, we could put them in the solid waste department, answering phones, move Tiffany back and let her assist Bobby. You know, we could put them in the judge's office and let them answer phones. We can send them to finance. You know, I mean, we can work these people, which would help us drive down our EMOD, which would, in years, it's not something that's going to turn overnight, in years, reduce our workers' comp in this county. And there's several other things that we're working on to try to drive down their cost. A couple of them I'm not prepared to talk about today, but that return to work policy is definitely one that we need to implement in the county, and not trying to make any, putting pressure on anybody to return to work. It's just being physically responsible for the way we spend our money.
Yeah, and let me go into a little bit more detail about what that does. When you're looking at workers' comp losses, you have what's called medical only versus indemnity losses. Indemnity losses, we're taking hits every day because we don't have a light duty policy to allow some of these workers to come back. So every loss that we have on our record that is just not medically only, we're getting 100%, we're taking 100% hit for those losses. If we can have a return to work program and get these people to have a medical only loss and get them back in here within 3 days of their accident, then we're reducing the cost of 70%. I mean, you're reducing your loss of 70%. So if you have a $100,000 loss, just throwing out a figure, and we can get those people back to work within 3 days, even though we continue to pay that medical, that's only going to hit us for $30,000 on our losses. Right. Versus if they're not, if they can't return to work on a light duty program, even if they could and we don't have it, we're going to take a $100,000 hit for that loss. That's the difference. It's about a 70% difference in how they're going to factor our EMOD.
So right now, Justin, we don't know what our workers' comp's going to be next year until they come up with this number that you were talking about and give it to us, and they're too late for us to do anything about it at that time, right?
Yeah, the way the EMOD's factored is you have it's based off a 3-year loss ratio minus the last year, okay? So we're not looking at 16, 17. You're looking at 15, 16, 14, 15.
Yeah.
13, 14. Now, I can tell you what I know after putting in the losses and after looking at them is that EMOD is going to increase. We had what has been what's been a better year, that's going to fall off. And then the previous year, which would be the 16, 17 year, will come on, and we have more losses in that year than we did the year that's coming off. So by nature, this is going to go up. I don't exactly know how far. That's why I'm asking for the approval of the Xywave product. It's going to give me the ability to tell you, and I could tell you as soon as we get it approved and I get access to that, I could tell you within a week about what our EMOD's going to be.
Hey, Justin, what's that going to, how much is it going to cost us for the lease?
What is this lease?
It's a 1-year lease. There's a one-time setup fee of $1,000. It's about $3,200. It would be $2,200 every renewal. This product is not typically designed for people like me asking access for the physical court. It is designed for insurance agents to increase their appeal to have you as their agent. And I contacted them. I've used this product in the past. It's very efficient, and it's very good at what it does. And I had talked them into, if we could get that approved here, to allow me to use that in the capacity that I'm in as the loss control officer here. And they have agreed to do that.
Sounds to me like it's a pretty good return on the investment.
It is, and Justin touched on it, but I want to say this too. I mean, you know, right now, we pay $845,000 for a workers' comp annually. That number should be $520. It's $325,000 less than what we're paying. If we don't show this attention, 5 years from now, we're going to be paying double.
So as soon as you get approval, you can get to work on it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'll make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All right, and then, do you have a question? Oh, he said.
I said a second because it sounds like a no-brainer for us, you know, to try to save some
I
money.
just got one other thing.
Yes, sir.
Justin, very soon, could you be working maybe with, and call up somebody from some other counties maybe that have a light-duty policy?
I actually have those on,
Okay.
I can print those out for you if you would like. I've got those on my computer. I'd asked for a couple of return-to-work policies. I've never seen those policies not work. I've implemented them in my 10 years in the business. I've implemented those policies. And actually, there's one account, and I'd be more than happy to give you her name. When I took that account over, we were at 1.89 on their E-mod, so it was actually worse than this. And in about a 2.5-year period, we got them down to 0.82. So not only were we able to take away the whole increase that they had, we were actually giving them a 7 or an 18% credit for being so good in their losses. And that's what I want to get you guys to. That is my ultimate goal, was to put $300,000 so you can spend on whatever else you might need to spend it on.
I know with the co-companies that I was associated with, once we instituted a light-duty policy, our insurance, workers' comp, and everything went down.
Oh, yeah, well, it's a unique ability. One, we're talking about the losses, but two, it's easy to go to your insurance carrier and say, listen, we're doing this, this, and this. And in return for that, we need a 5% credit because what you're asking us to do, we're doing. And we need to be compensated for that because that's taking money for us to do. And it just gives you the negotiating power to do that. So that's, you probably saw that, and you saw the reduction in losses as well.
Could you amend that order to include authorization for payment of the $3,200 too?
Sure, I'll amend my motion.
That way we can add it to the expenditure
I'll amend my
list.
motion to include the 3,200.
I need a motion for approval.
We got both. Just roll call.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dotson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Teska?
Yes.
Thank you,
Real
gentlemen.
quick,
Thank you,
I
Justin.
want to hush, I promise. Just give me one more minute, Justin. I ain't done with you.
Yes, sir.
Another thing that's kind of on my plate is you know, year and a half ago, we started looking at our insurance here at the county, and we was able to go in and have significant amount of savings. And one of the things that I was told back when I was dealing with this was they was going to come in 2018 and do reappraisals on our properties. You know, and I'll say this, I think our property in this county is way overappraised. I mean, we got buildings that, to me, I don't think they're worth $150,000. That's appraised for $500,000 and $600,000. And then I was expecting this year to come in and do all new appraisals on our properties. And I was told that when they come in, they're still going to come in, but they're going to come in and only do 17. They're only going to appraise the ones that's over $500,000. You know, we don't need the buildings over $500,000 appraised. We're ate up with buildings that's $450,000, $489,000, $350,000. That's not $50,000 and $60,000. You know, I wanted to tell you all that coming soon, you know, we need to address this. I mean, you know, we need all of our buildings reappraised, and what it is they got it on replacement cost. You know, and we don't need our property on replacement cost. We need agreed values. You know, my favorite thing is the Johns Creek Fire Department. I grew up beside Johns Creek Fire Department. You know the building well. It's appraised, Justin, help me,
It's
400
the
and-
building itself is $484,000.
$484,000. The building itself is appraised for that.
Yeah, that doesn't include the contents or anything inside the building.
Right.
So
And-
it's actually probably over 500.
And to me, replacement costs on that building is what, 150,000? You know, we got some more work to do there because I really think that there's several, if not $300,000 to $400,000 more in savings that we can go after on just getting the things in line. Justin, anything else you need to talk about?
No, I would concur with that statement. I've been out appraising, just not appraisal because I'm not an appraisal, but I've been out looking at some of these structures and just where they're located. I think you're way overinsured on some of your properties. Now, obviously, in downtown, you'd want to have that, like the courthouses, you want that fully insured. So there needs to be an agreement between this court and the carrier on a mutual valuation, regardless of how we do it, whether it's replacement cost, whether it's an agreed value policy or guaranteed replacement or functional replacement cost.
I think as a county, I think we're better off just insuring the buildings we want insured and then self-insuring the rest of them. I mean, I hate to do that, but I don't want to keep throwing hundreds of thousands of dollars away either.
Yeah, and just to touch on that, I have asked for a complete breakdown of the premiums on all of our buildings separately to get an idea of where we're at. They have not responded to me on that request yet. I have requested it twice, so I am waiting for a response on that, but I can give you an idea on the properties that we want to fully insure, and then if we were to choose to self-insure the rest of our properties, what that savings would be if we did that.
All right.
Thanks, Justin.
Thank you, sir.
Establish a date for trick or treat.
October 31st, it's trick or treat night. I've reached out to the cities. This is a good date for everybody. Anybody got problems with October 31st? A Tuesday. That's Halloween, yeah. It's a Tuesday. Do what? Yeah, October 31st.
That's a Tuesday, right?
Yes.
Is it on Saturday?
The city's doing it too?
Yep, countywide, October 31st, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday
It's
night.
away from Wednesday night and weekend.
church
Yeah,
and-
I'm all for that.
Need a motion, second.
Roll call, please.
Master Anderson?
Yes.
Master Murphy?
Yes.
Master Robinson? Master Dodson?
Yes.
Master Varney?
What was the time again?
6 to 8, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes.
Hey, real quick too, there's things that occurs through the years and there's certain things that occurs that's special. You know, we live in a world to where, people get together and they divorce and they separate but someone on this court has celebrated a 50th year wedding anniversary. To me, I think that's pretty spectacular.
Is that combined or one?
I was going to try to play a game with it, but I look over at Leo and he's like right there. It's me.
50 years.
50 years. I want to congratulate Leo and his wife on 50 years.
Thank you and pray for my wife.
That's right. I congratulate her, Leo.
How many? 58. Wow, that's awesome. But
Do we have any rewarding for bids? None? Madras Road Work.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Master Anderson?
Yes.
Master Murphy?
Yes.
Master Robinson? Master Dodson?
Yes.
Master Varney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes. Madras comments.
Judge, the only thing I have is I got a row petition I need to turn in. That's all I have.
All right. What about, no, Jeff's not, or Johnson's not here?
Yeah, he just made.
Oh, he made it, huh? Well, great.
There you go.
Leo?
Yes, I just wanted to ask how things are going on the Upper Pompey buyout and the road project.
We got 5 more homeowners scheduled for this Thursday to be bought out, and that'll leave us 2 to go there. And it's my understanding that Summit has been up there doing some engineering for the road, and I think they're moving forward on it. I think they're still debating, ain't they, whether either try to start it this winter or wait till the spring.
Yeah, the last thing I heard, I talked to the Summit, they're going to try to get the bidding and all the process over this year, but they don't want to start the construction until maybe the end of winter or beginning of spring next year, so they won't have no delays.
Yeah, I just want to make sure it's going forward and I appreciate it.
Moving forward.
Gilmore?
I need to get approval to go to the auction down there the 26th to buy a utility trailer or equipment trailer, not to exceed $7,500 that comes out of my road fund.
Second. We got a motion and a second. Right. Nah, need a roll call.
Roll call.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes, really.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Oh, I forgot Magistrate Johnson.
Go ahead.
Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson? Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Teske?
Yes.
Now, that auction is, I think you can go down the 25th and view the equipment, and then the 26th is the auction. It starts at 9. Is any other magistrates wanting to go or need approval for anything? Okay.
Brian, I don't know, but Chick said he need a truck, didn't you, Chick?
I'd like to have one if the price is right.
And I think, Jeff, you need to back over.
What kind of truck? Dump truck?
If you don't get it approved today, then you won't be able to go because you got to take a check with you to pay them that day.
This one open to the public?
It's
Yeah,
public.
it's public.
Yeah. I went down there a couple of weeks ago, and they had some pretty good equipment, and the prices was really good prices then.
But you don't know.
And then we talked to the individual, and he said at the auction, it may go lower, it may go higher.
Brian, Paul said he needed a boom truck, and they've got one down there, and they've got it listed as a bad motor, and I talked to Larry Pearson yesterday, and he said, you know, what the motor problem was injectors and some things that need to be done to the engine. So I don't know what it'll sell for, but the cab and the boom and things look really good, didn't it, Paul?
Yeah, it was a real good looking truck, and, you know, don't look like it, I don't know how many miles they had on it, but it's a good looking truck, yeah.
Well, maybe, are you planning on going, Paul?
We've talked about it.
Can we get a maintenance worker to go and maybe go and just check out some things while they're there?
Well, the day they sell them, they're as is. I mean, you know, what's there is there, and they'll tell you pretty much what the problem is, but you don't know what they're gonna sell for. And Paul could probably sell his truck and recoup a pretty good lot of money out of it. Right. You've had it, what, about 7, 8 years?
At least, yes.
What kind of motors it got in it?
I think it's the diesel, wasn't it?
I'd say it's at probably about 6.4. I don't know, it's not the 7.3.
If it's a 6.0,
It may be, I don't know.
I don't know. It's just a boom truck sitting there, and they had,
7 injectors, I bought a set for mine, is $2,400.
yeah. But what Paul was talking about is maybe getting a new engine if you get it cheap enough and replacing it. And, you know, that's just something that he had talked about. And I know with his job and what he does in the county now, they use the boom truck quite a bit. And
Yeah.
they do a lot of things with that truck, don't you, Paul?
Yeah, the boom is, the one we got's got a lot of slack in it now, you know, it's getting wore. Yeah, but it's been a good truck, you know. I believe it's got 200-some thousand miles on it, and we don't put a whole lot of miles on it, but you're running all day, you know, when you're lifting.
You done, Kenneth?
Yeah, and
Okay.
I'd like to get it approved for that speed limit up at Garden Village. Jackie Darrell's been working on it.
Yeah, I checked on that, and I think it needs to be done there. There's a lot of houses, and they got 2 exits coming into the road, and ain't much inconvenience, so nobody can get off on each end there, and won't delay people too much, but it would make it a lot safer for the children.
There are a lot of kids plays in that street down there. I make a motion, we pass it.
Roll call, please.
Kenneth, have you got a petition already turned in?
Yeah, I turned in Jacket Earl about a month ago, I guess it was. That petition I turned in to you.
What are you setting the speed limit for, to?
15 mile an hour.
Yeah, I'm 27.
Kenneth, while we're talking, you know, I'm gonna vote for it, but I think Jackie needs to go out in the truck and get that petition and turn it in to the court today as we vote.
Whatever.
I'll go out there and get it, when you just break for executive session.
Huh?
When you just break for
No, we're
executive
gonna
session,
be,
do it now.
we're gonna finish up your talking, I guess.
I'll make a motion that Jackie goes to his truck.
I second it. All right, are we voting now? Okay.
Can we go ahead now? Can we go ahead now for the roll call?
Yeah, roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson,
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson. Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Varney.
Yes.
Judge Deskins.
Yes. Hillman?
Judge, I just have a few little things. We have, need to clarify what they're gonna do on this auction. I know Paul's, in limbo on what they're gonna do, or they're gonna, if you get it at a reasonable price or whatever. And, if you wanna send a mechanic down but if you don't get this approved today, then you can't go down because they are expecting a check that evening. It's not like it was when we go down and buy on our own. But I don't need anything, but Chick said he needed a truck, and I think they said they had about 15 backhoes down there, and Jeff, I believe, needs a backhoe. And, you know, whatever they need to make their mind up today so they'll know what they want to do.
What dollar amount did you all?
Well, it'll be a public auction, and I don't know what they'll sell for. You know, sometimes they'll sell for $15,000, maybe $25,000, just according to how bad people want them. And I know it's been a big help to the county on buying this equipment. In the past, we've been able to keep from going and buying new stuff, and we've bought some good equipment down there. But I just want to bring that to the attention, and whatever you decide to do is up to you guys. And Jim Bevins is back here, and I think he's wanting to talk to us a little bit later on about our trails, and I think Brian's getting some contracts drawn up and signed, working on them. And
I need anybody this snow.
I guess that's all I have.
Dom,
Judge, you know, just a couple of things that were going on over in my district. We're doing a lot of asphalt patching and stuff right now, and I got money, my flex money and stuff in for Dick's Fork to have it paved, and then Mountain Enterprises has shut down that plant there for a while, doing the work on the 4-lane and stuff. So it's just, you know, and I'm asking people to be patient with me. The money's there, we're ready to do it when they're ready to do it. We're going into West Virginia and getting some of the asphalt now to do the patching and stuff we're doing.
I'm glad you brought that up, Bobby, because I had it on my agenda to talk about. You know, the judge's office is getting a lot of calls for pothole patching, and, you know, we're kind of at the mercy of Mountain Enterprise. What they're doing is previous months, previous months, they worked on the upper side of US 23. We couldn't get blacktop. Now they're working on the lower end of 23. They're working at night. We can't get blacktop. They've assured the county that we'll start getting blacktop, I think, by the end of this week.
Yeah, and she told me she could be, that they would probably be at Dix Fork the 1st of October, the first week of October.
But there are a lot of calls coming in, and it is absolutely not our fault. I mean, we're at the mercy of our supplier. We only got one supplier we can buy from. To be patient. As soon as we can get the blacktop, we're going to be out there doing the work.
Yeah, I'm just asking my people to be patient. Some of them are a little understanding, and some of them are not. But you know, that's part of it, I guess. But all in all, they're doing a great job over there in my district. The work that his guys done, and I brought it up before there for the senior citizens, our little back porch and stuff. They've got the banister up now, and I'm telling you, it is looking great. It really is, Paul. Good job again. And I love my senior citizens. They do a great job, you know, over there, the director and everything. And our Pride group, can't say enough about them picking up the garbage, and just keep picking it up. And I'll help them any way that I can. That's about all, Judge.
Thank you. Chanda, we have some business?
I'll do it after you come out of executive session. One thing I want to ask before I forget, did you all issue a quietus for the sheriff's settlement for the 2016 property taxes so he can close his book and, okay. We need to issue a quietus to the sheriff so that the clerk can type it up for them to send to Frankfurt in order to get the new tax books in.
Can you explain to me what a quietus is?
It's just basically saying that his books have been closed and he's ready to accept the next year's, that we accept his settlement. The state auditors are here to audit the 16-2 now that we have the settlement completed.
You need a motion for that? Mm-hmm. I make a motion.
Can you explain it any better for me, Herbie? Okay.
Roll call, please.
Master Anderson?
Yes.
Master Murphy? Master Johnson?
Johnson. Yes.
Master Robinson? Master Dodson?
Yes.
Master Varney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes.
Whenever you come out of executive session, I'll have the rest of my stuff. After you come out of executive session, I'll do the rest of mine. I just wanted to make sure we did that for the sheriff.
Do I need to read the KRS?
Yes, sir, Judge. At this time, I'd like to make a motion that we move into executive session. And according to
Because they have to have that
KRS
for Frankfurt to know that the books are
61.810,
closed.
paragraph C, to discuss proposed
I told
or
Debbie to tell
pending
them to put it on
litigation,
here.
and paragraph F, discuss specific personnel.
Need a motion. Second. Roll call, please.
Master Anderson?
Yes.
Master Johnson? Master Murphy?
Yes.
Master Robinson? Master Dodson? Master Varney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes. We will be in executive session for a short time. The meeting will resume.
Got some personnel, we back, are we back, Judge? Got some personnel, custodian at the Judicial Center at a 2H rate of pay was bidded. Christopher Blake Dotson was the senior bidder. Carpenter helper mower, Public Works, 3H rate of pay was bidded. Kenneth Price is the winner, the senior bidder. Approval to pay Jason Burke 2A rate of pay from September 5th to September 11th with longevity due to Lori Goff on vacation. Approval to hire Adam Runyon temporarily driver for solid waste as transfer driver to 3H rate of pay effective 9/7/17. Is Troy Bryant still here? Troy and his father's here. Troy is a county employee that had a automobile accident a couple of months ago, and I think he was on life support for a little bit, and you know, he's trying to get back to work, not 100% sure if he's going to make it back to work or not. We discussed this, and Troy's out of sick time, and he's requested from the court for donated sick time, and they discussed it, and it was, I think it was determined to be catastrophic, and I think the courts agreed to allow donated sick time through December 1st of this year to reevaluate it at that point. Is that what you understand too, Troy? So through December 1st, any county employee wants to give sick time to Troy, you're more welcome to, and then we'll reevaluate it as of December 1st. And then need to acknowledge the retirement of one lady. I met Rose Farley just a couple years ago when I started my position here. They are no kinder, loving woman on the face of the earth than Rose Farley. I usually walk by her house and she's sitting on the porch, and I stop and talk, and it just, you know, breaks my heart that she can't finish this term with us. Love her dearly. She served as fiscal clerk for 18 years. Her retirement will be effective 9/30 of 2017. And that's the judge's recommendations.
I'd just like to make a comment about the retirement of Rose. When I first met her, I'd seen her on TV before, but when I first met her, she embodies every sense of the word lady. When I think of the word lady or hear the word lady, I think of Rose Farley. She done a great job for us, but she not only was that, she was a kind lady, she was a good friend, and I value that more than I do all the other stuff. But I wish her the best of everything in the world, and that God would really bless her in her retirement.
Thank you, Bobby. That's the judge's recommendation.
Yeah, that's my recommendation, and I need a second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson,
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson,
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy,
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson, Magistrate Dodson,
Yes.
Magistrate Varney,
Yes.
Judge Steskins.
Yes.
I hate to see Rose leave. She done a good job. I was on this court when she come here.
All right, I believe.
Bill, if you don't care real quick, I'd like to acknowledge that Lonnie Osborne, PVA, is in the courtroom, and Russell Roberts, coroner's here. Appreciate you guys coming by. Appreciate the job y'all do for Pike County.
Yeah, I just wanted to say too about Rose, I've been around her, worked with her and around her for 15 years, and she's every bit the definition of a lady, and she done her job and done it well.
Well, public comment.
One more time. Treasurer?
Treasurer.
Where is it? Where's it? Oh, yeah, treasurer's business.
Authorize any necessary transfers and interfund transfers to pay the bills, payroll, health, and life insurance.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Varney.
Yes.
Judge Steskins.
Yes.
Authorize the payment of the expenditure approval list dated September 18th, 2017, and any other utility and telephone bills received before the checks are run. Plus, we need to add the check to the Pike County Tourism to pass through the receipts that we received in August 2017, which are for July, and to add the Pikeville Accounting and Tax Associates for the tax settlement for 2016 in the amount of $8,560.
Motion.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Varney.
Yes.
Judge Steskins.
Yes.
Acknowledge receipt of the sheriff and the clerk's 2550 reports for August 2017.
Motion.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy. Yes. Magistrate Robinson. Yes. Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Mr. Varney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes.
Authorize the registration and lodging for those who wish to attend the 43rd Annual CAECO Conference and Exposition, November 8th through the 10th, 2017, at the Galthouse East, Louisville, Kentucky.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Yes. Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Varney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes.
I have no further business, Judge. Well, I guess one more thing. Is anybody going to go to the auction that needs a check up to a certain amount, other than Kenneth at this point in time? Need to do it, or otherwise,
Donna, I think Chick's wanting to possibly buy a truck, and Paul, I don't know what you're gonna do if you ain't got no money. I never hear nobody say anything about. Paul needs a boom truck, but he ain't got no money. So. Why they got one down there? We don't know.
What do you think the truck, what do you think the boom truck would go for?
Well,
Gentlemen?
you know, it's, don't never know, do you, Paul?
No, last time
Already got it.
we stopped bidding at 17,000 last.
Oh, was it go that high?
Yeah.
do you want any dietary restrictions?
They got one down there
It
with,
was after them, and, you
all
know,
right, Leo.
you just don't know, you know.
Do you have any dietary
I think it's only fair to the court that if he gets something, he worked for all of us.
That's,
I think you need to
Well,
give him what he needs to work
Check
with
it at 2 o'clock in the morning, put a pin on his diaper.
and set a limit on how much you think.
You ready, Leo? Hope I don't tell you.
so what you're saying, him and his each magistrate agreed to maybe 3,000?
Well, it's up to these other guys, you know, he's out there every day, working with his crew, and they put tin on, and they paint, and they stain, and they use that boom truck for a lot of things, so.
Yeah, it's cutting trees. I mean, there's just a variety of different things, just used constant, you know. We had it down for a while, and like I say, it just really, really handicaps you. It's one of the handiest piece of equipment we got. You know.
Let you pay your insurance, Leo. You should pay
And
their whole-
you might also tell them, if you get one, you're gonna put your old one in the auction,
Right,
and
right.
whatever money it brings.
Come back.
You can't throw it together.
Yeah, the old ones
Pretty
still
handy,
bring pretty good money, you know.
I'd say it bring like $7,000.
I'd say so. I mean, it's still a good truck, you know, it's still, you know, it just, the one they got down there we was looking at, had, the injectors and stuff, and what'd you say, the injector's ill one?
He said the motor, they had on the window, bad motor, and I asked him, I said, well, what does that mean? He said, well, there's some motor work that needs to be done, injectors and some things on the motor. But they've got on the windshield, bad motor, so.
Ours just about wore out, you know.
He said his had a lot of slack in the bucket, and
Yeah, the bucket, and you know, it's getting worse, it's not gonna be safe, pretty soon, not even be in it, you know.
They got all them trucks down there before you get into Frankfurt too, the bucket.
I know last time we was down there, it went for over 17,000.
Well, would each magistrate agree to give 3,000 of the road lot to the purchase of a boom truck for the public waste department? It'd give you 18,000.
I would.
You know, I like to go ahead and commit the county to go ahead and purchase it, but I just don't know at this point if we can financially afford it. I know, what do you think, John?
If we get to a point that we've got the extra revenue, we can always give it back to them
Well, can we do this?
and see what happens with the auction too and split the difference.
Yeah, can the county agree to pay the 18,000 and look at our next coal and gas mineral taxes is coming in? And at that point, if it's above estimates, we won't even hit the road lots.
Okay.
And then if it's not, then we'll hit your road lots?
That's
Brian,
fine.
I don't think it'll take that much to buy one, but, you know, you're setting that at a high goal and deal from there.
I'm
The
fine.
county's going to get it first, and if we have to, then we'll come
Doing
back
that.
to you all.
I think our estimates was up last quarter, and I think the estimates be up this quarter. I don't think it'll come back to your road lots ever. but I don't want to put the county.
Paul's just at the mercy. He don't have a budget
Right.
to buy stuff with. All you do is work.
Well, can we go ahead and get a motion, a second, for the county to purchase up to $20,000 a boom truck for Public Works? And then if we need to after the mineral taxes comes in, we may have to readdress how we pay for it, but I think we'll be okay. Is that okay? Everybody good with that? Yeah, so I need a motion, a second for 20.
We got to do check too.
Can you do them all together?
John, can you just have one check and then
Yes,
Yeah.
when
So-
it comes back, you can divvy it up?
that's what I want to do, yes.
Now, Hillman, you don't,
I don't need anything, but if I see something that we need, and we can make money on, I think we need to buy it.
Do you want to authorize them up to $50,000?
yes, 50,000.
Do I have a second?
30 being each their road lots, 20 being the county. Okay.
Who made the
And that includes Kenna's 7,500 too.
Let me get this straight. You're giving Hill and Dodson a check for $50,000 to go down there and buy something.
So it was back in, Hillman told me, so I'll go down there if they want me to. And I said, well, we got to put your hand behind your back to force
I
you
got plenty of equipment over there. When I leave, I'm gonna leave somebody in good shape. Got them a good garage and a lot of equipment.
Well, I've got a motion, I need a second.
I guess we need to make this one for 42.5, and then the other 75 makes it a total of 50.
Yeah. I think we've already did Kenneth's.
Right, so we just need to make this one for 42.5.
42.5.
For a total of up to 50.
But the only thing I would ask,
Probably should buy
Paul,
that.
is, are you going to go down?
Not yet.
Yeah.
I would like for someone from the maintenance garage, if possible, to go with you to look at this vehicle. If we're going to put 20,000 in this truck, I mean, let's make sure that when it comes back, we're not going to have any problems with it.
I'll have to put anything.
No,
much
I mean,
more.
yeah,
The one, if we can get a good deal on the one, the one that's got the injectors and stuff bad, I don't know what it's gonna go for, but
I mean,
the other two,
It's a bigger truck, wasn't it, Paul?
yeah.
if we're going to put 20,000 in, I want to make sure that it's mechanically inclined.
You can't hear them run.
Right.
You buy as is on the auction day.
You can't start them up, or,
No,
Not now. You could have before.
no.
well, you can go down Tuesday.
Did Leo make the motion?
Yeah.
I've got a.
Yeah, I agree with Kenneth. There's a lot there as you get into Frankfurt that sells. And maybe, I mean, this check doesn't have to be at that auction. Stop there on your way in and compare what's there.
It don't go pretty reasonable, there's not gonna need any bid
There you
on
go.
it.
I mean, use common sense. We,
That makes I want to put one. And I've got a motion, I need a second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Master Anderson?
Yes.
Master Johnson?
Yes.
Master Murphy? Master Robinson? Master Dodson?
Yes.
Master Varning?
Yes.
Judge Deskus?
Yes. All right, that's it, and public comment. Where is it?
And another thing, Brian, anything we buy down there, if we don't like, we can put it in the auction. We don't have to keep it for a year at a public auction. So if, you can buy stuff to make money on, and
$20,000 should get you a pretty good boost.
You've got 10
Yeah,
minutes.
I don't figure it'll go that high, but, I know the ones last year, they got two that's pretty good shape now. They'll probably go over that, They had two on the other prim we looked at, but this one here was out to sell, so.
I didn't get to make it last month, but Jimmy Kaiser's supposed to check with the Corps of Engineers there on the bridge down there at Walker's Branch, and I guess that's where we're at today, find out what you found out.
Well, yeah, I talked to him at the last time you sure. It can be done, you just have to show to them the plans of what you're going to do. If you put in a certain amount of material in the easement, you take that much out, and you just show them what you're going to do, they'll approve it. And then, like I said, you have to have the permit from the Division of Water.
But it's my understanding, which I've talked to them too, and she said, from what I explained to her, the way that Mr. Blankenship was talking about building a bridge, if they were other bridges in the immediate area built like that they could build one there like that. And I explained the situation to her, and she said that the Corps would definitely work with trying to get a bridge down there under the circumstances of where we get blocked over in there a lot. And she told me that it didn't have to be an engineering firm to draw the plans up, but it needed to be an engineer as to where you could say these 25 yards of material or these 50 yards of material in that bridge, so you got to move that out. And she said that if I explained to her about the old bridge, and she said if you took the old bridge out, the length that it was and the height versus what you was putting in there, that would be more than enough to cover what you added in on the new bridge. And she was supposed to be in this area yesterday, and I never could catch up with her to find out she was going to go down there and look at it. And we never could get together. I never could get a hold of her last Thursday and Friday to see if she was going to be up here. But now she may have been up here and she may have went and looked at it yesterday. But she said that she was going to be in the area. So, I mean, according to her, you know, something can be worked out to where we can get a bridge down there. So she said she'd be more than willing to work with the court in order to get a bridge in there. So where we go from here?
I'm at the same place where I was last time we talked about this, Blake. If we're looking at $30,000 or $40,000 to go down there to build a bridge, that'll service, what, 3 residents? For $30,000 or $40,000, I'd fight tooth and nail, try to help them. But if we're looking at $750,000 to serve 2 or 3 residents,
You're not looking at $750,000. I mean, Mr. Blankenship there, he told you he could do it for around $40,000 worth of materials and use county labor. So, I mean, there's
will they
a lot
approve
of,
that? That's where, I mean,
a lot of difference in $800,000 and $40,000.
I think it'd be.
Am I correct on that, Mr. Blankenship, about the amount there for the materials? I thought that's what you said, but I want to make sure.
Yeah, see, that gets into legal. I mean, you know, that's another thing. I mean, just talk to Master Anderson. He says he has no problem putting that kind of money towards it, maybe an 80-20 fund in next year's budget. You know, that's if they'll approve the specs, and that's if this court will agree to go do the condemnation of the sister's property. I mean, you know, it's a lot more to it than just go building a bridge. I mean, you know, Keith, I mean, I know we've talked about this in the past. I mean, you know, I think next step would be, are we willing to go to the sister and take the property?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if y'all vote to do it, you can.
I mean, legally, can we do that? I mean, so legally, what we can.
We can, I don't know.
Oh,
if
yeah.
We can
Legally,
condemn.
you can do it because they took Daddy's land and give it to Victor Foote as to where the county road's at now. They condemned it. I know it can be done.
I mean, I swear I hate to put anybody in any pressure, but it seems like we've been talking about this bridge, Blake, since I've been here.
Probably need a dollar value limit on what we'll probably
About 3 or 4 years.
Probably have to have it appraised and pay her what its appraised value is.
Would it be too much to ask for the courts? What's the court think? I mean, are y'all wanting to go up there?
Do it like they do a state highway. Go ahead and go out and measure what you need and get an appraisal done on it.
Yeah, I'd like to know what it's going to cost to condemn it, and to be honest with you, I'm not.
What we're going to offer her for the property.
Well, I mean, that's what we need to do, I think, don't you?
See what we're gonna offer, see what it appraises for, see what you can offer her for it, and then if she doesn't agree, then we start the condemnation process.
But she's not going to agree. If you offer $100,000, she's not going to agree, is she, Blake? I mean, just speak truthful. I mean, I know not.
Well, one thing, I know Brian and I have discussed it, there has to be a, we're going to have to reach a happy medium, and, you get into a cost-benefit type analysis.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go spend tens of thousands of dollars on a condemnation process. If we, and I've said it before publicly, that I would much rather it be a peaceful
Oh, I would too.
bridge building, if you will, but I just don't know, I don't know if that's feasible. I do know that, if we can get an 80-20 match and we can get through all these other roadblocks, no pun intended, but if we can do that, if we can get the 80-20 from the state, I might be able to afford it in next year's budget. I know I can't do it in this year's budget because I'm not going to have the money.
I mean, if you start right now and draw up the plans and send it into the state, it's probably going to be close to next year's budget before you're going to get anything back from them anyway.
It may be.
And you get the land.
We can go through that process, Blake. We can do all that, and we can have everything in line, everything set up to build the bridge. But I think our next step is the land.
Well,
I don't think we go, I don't think we do one thing forward until we secure the land.
Yeah, get somebody out there to survey it and get an appraisal.
Yeah.
We've
But-
got to start somewhere.
Right, but get somebody out to appraise it. It don't matter what you offer the sister, she's not going to take the money.
But we'll know then what we're gonna have to, you know then pretty well what the court will order, about the amount the court orders to pay. So we probably ought to go and get it surveyed and get.
And it may not be feasible. I mean, who knows? Like the county attorney said, who knows what what it's going to cost the county?
Well, as far as the land, I can tell you it ain't gonna be much because the water stays open.
Well, if you can give me a dollar amount and we can just not even do the condemnation process, well, if you can.
I can't appraise land. I don't appraise land, so I don't know. But I can tell you this, 200 acres over in that holler is valued at $36,000 because the water gets over it and
See,
you ain't got a road you can get to it.
I want the court to understand. I know some of them understands it and some of them hasn't seen it. I know Jeff understands it. What's there now is a low water bridge.
Mm-hmm.
What that means is the creek's right there at it. I mean, you're inches away from the
Roughly 18
bridge.
on a good dry time from where the water level's at up to the bridge, you're about 18 to 20 inches.
So when the water gets up, it's underwater.
Mm-hmm.
If we go there when we build this bridge, and we build the bridge and it's there, it's the new bridge is still going to be underwater at times.
At times,
Yeah.
but
There's
when
no
it
getting the
gets
bridge
up
out of
into
water.
the bottom, there's no way.
There's no way.
Humanly possible to get it completely out of water. I mean, the same way with the bridge at the golf course where John Paul Burchick lives, it gets over water. It gets over at Hurt Branch, the next one down. It gets over down at Martin Scott Branch. I mean, every one. But
Blake,
you're talking anywhere from 24 to 36 hours of being blocked.
Right.
Versus
2
maybe
3 weeks.
2-3 weeks, the way it is now. And I mean, I've got no complaint or being blocked for 24 or 36 hours.
Right.
But when you go to do it for, 2-3 weeks,
Well, the county attorney advised to get an appraisal on the property. I reckon that'd be your plate, won't it, Jackie Darrell?
and Blake, your 10 minutes is up.
all right.
But to try to get an
Next 10
appraisal on it.
minutes.
Until because that woman's not going to agree. I've talked to her. She's dead set. It's a personal grudge, I think, in the family.
Well, Blake
So we got to
acknowledges
get an estimate on it and decide where we're going to condemn the land.
Okay. Can you go ahead and get the appraisal going?
Yeah, I'll contact some people, get it done.
All right.
Yeah, get a survey. I don't think it needs to be an official survey, just a basic
Jackie Darrell,
drive-by.
you have anything, comments?
Yeah, I got a few things, sure. One thing, the county attorney, I just got this note earlier, there, Mr. Chapman over in Blackberry, says there's 18-wheelers hauled on this single road. and he's not hard a lawyer, apparently, out of Louisville. But what do we do on where somebody's producing coal and got a business and driving on the roads? What's your recommendation there? It's a little bit out of my deal there.
Are they getting on his property?
He just says there's a one-lane county road, not a coal haul road.
Oh, he's
Hauling coal with 18-wheeler, and he's contacted a lawyer in Louisville. He wants me to call him, so I want to know what to tell the gentleman.
Jack, where's that at?
He says Upper Blackberry Road.
Is it on the state or the county? See, that state road runs up there so far around Balfork, and then it goes into county.
It says 1040 Upper Blackberry, but he says it's a single road. State's a double road. It's most times dual. So I don't know. I just got that message. I want to have some, input when I call this gentleman up, what to tell him, because you don't want to stand in the way of people working, getting a job, but at the same time, you got to be able to travel the roads. So, but I just want your input on that, Keith.
What's he wanting us to do? Fix the road or widen it or?
Sound like I guess I got to ask him, but I'm just assuming, but he's thinking he don't want him hauling on that road.
Who is it, Jack?
Kenneth Chapman.
Yeah, it's a county road.
If the court wants us to file an injunction against him, we could do that. Is that?
Yeah, it's a single county road.
They could
not
either
a
call the
coal
police to
hauling
go
road.
out there and stop him, or we could ask for the circuit court
That's
for
the
an
only way they got
injunction.
to go to get the coal, We make,
Yeah, the court could either vote to get an injunction against that coal company, keep them hauling out of there, or we'd have to put up a bond to stop them, or have the police go out there and check, make sure those trucks are legal.
or if the coal
suggestion.
company will cooperate and buy some property and make the road wider.
You can't hardly make it no wider, Jack. You got a fence on one side and a creek on the other.
It's tough.
That's all we got.
That's the reason I'm asking that question. Okay, what did you say, County
We
Attorney?
won't stop them from suing the coal company. We won't try to stop them. I don't think we should try to stop them or encourage it, either one. Just let them. Are they suing the coal company? That's what the lawyer's for.
I don't know what his purpose is when I'm just assuming he wants the traffic stopped on the road.
Is the
Coal truck.
letter from the lawyer?
No, that's not a letter from a lawyer, it's just a citizen. He just said he contacted a lawyer in Louisville.
Yeah, just
And
tell him we're not for
I'd
it.
assume he's wanting a coal truck stopped from hauling on that road.
Yeah, I'd tell them the fiscal court's not for illegally hauling coal on roads. We don't support it. That's what I'd resolve it to. We don't support them in doing it.
So I go to the coal company and tell them not to be hauling on that road?
If you want to, not to be hauling if it's.
That's
to be
not where I
hauling
want
illegally.
to, it's what I legally could do.
Yeah, just tell them not to haul illegally on that road. Just don't follow the law
Okay,
when they're on
the
it.
next thing, I went out and got that speed thing, it's got 28 signatures from Garden Village on it there, and I give it to them.
Yeah, have them get that, have them.
And Jeff, I was talking to Ike, he's got a problem with his roller, and he's going to get a roller, and he said he discussed it with you. We could get a lease. It was 14 something. The guy come down to 1234 after I talked to him, and that's something I need to bring up in front of the court because he needs a roller real bad, and it's 1,200. And he wanted 900 for the trailer, but we contacted construction maintenance here, and he's got a trailer he can loan us to take care of that and to save the 900, not rent a trailer.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
Yeah. I guess that's all.
You have anything, Paul? Anything? Okay.
I got a request from Stu Foster. He's with the Western Kentucky University. They operate and maintain the Kentucky Mesonet program, which is a network of weather stations across Kentucky. And we've got one in Pike County. It's located at Dorton at Flatwoods Mountain. And they're trying to do a sponsorship program to help maintain those stations. And they're asking counties to sponsor their station for $3,000 a year. And they're wondering if the court would sponsor the station here in Pike County to help keep it up. It's something that we use, especially in inclement weather, and it records all types of weather events and weather scenarios. We watch it as storms and fronts come across the state. And it lets us know what's happening and what we can expect here.
Caught that fish.
Yeah, this is the group that we met with over there, wasn't it, Doug?
Oh, yeah, it was.
Sit and talked. I think this is something the county needs to do, especially back in January of 15, when we got that 18 inches of snow and the rain. It really let us prepare, and losing that service would really set the county back for such little amount of money. It could possibly save lives.
It can help save lives. It can also help us get federal declaration
Keep it light,
due to
too.
weather, because it records those weather events. And it can help prove that, yes, this did impact the
City
county.
should have helped us with that a little bit.
Any questions?
Do we have any?
Paid now or later?
It could be later.
Get us an invoice.
Okay, I can do that.
Did we need a motion?
No, we won't need a motion till he gets the invoice, correct?
Right. Need the court to approve it.
Yeah, go ahead and get a motion and second.
I need a motion. Need a second. Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson? Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Diskins?
Yes. Finished. Bobby, you need anything? You? All right.
Say something, Pam, come on.
Pam, how's everything going with you on your little job?
Little job.
Is it,
County Attorney, you have any comments?
No, just to update, we're waiting on the ruling from the Pike Circuit Court Special Judge, and on the issue on the form of government election, results of it. And hopefully we'll have a resolution next couple days.
All right. Pike County-
Judge, Jimmy Bevins there might have a little something to update us on his
Okay.
job. Think he's been sitting here getting ready.
First of all, I would like to thank Lonnie and his office. He got a list of our larger landowners to get down to Department of Local Government. Sandy Donahue and Neil Cornett's coordinating the state authority now, and all that's coming together. We're going to be doing a trail ride. We're going to call it a rally ride on October the 28th. That's last Saturday in October. And it'll start in Runyon's grade school, which is called Old School Events now. And it'll go up through Upper Pond Creek and over into Blackberry and Hillman's direction and Phelps and Majestic and McCarr, and kind of show off some of the viewed sites that we have. And what we're promoting it as, trying to take off on the theme of this 9-member board that will comprise the state authority. So we're reaching out to the 21 counties. We're going to do a judge's breakfast that morning over at Runyon Grade School. And then after that, the ride will start at 9:30, and we'll ride most of the day. And then Greg Hatfield has a property up on Ball Fork Mountain that he's calling Hatfield-McCoy Park. And they're having concerts and some events up there. And he's agreed to sponsor a concert that evening. So it'll basically be an entire day, give everybody a chance to sample the trails we have. Most of that's on post-mining property. So we're excited about that. Meeting with Tony Tackett with tourism there on Tuesday, and we're putting the marketing together for that to communicate that to all the tourism offices. So just, like to encourage everybody, if you don't have a commitment at that point, to come over and join us. Hopefully these other counties will get behind us, and we'll have a good showing for that. We'll also be having our monthly meeting the fourth Thursday of every month. That's going to be on the 28th of September. We'll meet here at the court on Thursday at 6 o'clock, and we'll be updating everybody on what's happening and how the trails are coming along. Jimmy has got our permit ready to go for Knott Creek. So we'll be finalizing that. A couple little things he and I and Frankie have to get together on this afternoon to finalize that. And then we should be good to go on that. So we can get started on our river trail. Also have some conversations with some folks over in Mingo County, and they've been making some progress on their side of the river as well. So the river trail side of this is coming along with the ATV part of it. So had a good meeting up in Bluefield. Several of the magistrates came up, and several of the other folks that will be on this 9-member board that the state has was in attendance. So we're looking forward to working with those folks. Y'all have any questions for me as far as where we are and where we're going?
Jimmy, I appreciate everything you've done, and what you said to me yesterday was you talked to some landowners and they're waiting on a paper from you to sign off to let us ride on their property. Brian is up on that. He's getting with Keith and John Doug, and they're gonna get an agreement drawn up for you to take, and maybe the next court meeting we'll have some signers for the first time.
Well, the positive part of this is that we've got a lot of individual landowners, we've had some corporate landowners, and we've had businesses that have expressed and really embraced this. What's a little bit challenging is that this authority is a work in progress. They'll actually be the final entity that will come in and execute the agreements and give the landowners protection similar to what they have on Hatfield-McCoy Trail or up on Spearhead, which is over on the Virginia side. But there are some interim steps we can take as a county that will let us bring properties into the county system and basically have this ready to roll, so that once those agreements are in place and those protections are in place, you can just simply roll that up into that state authority. And we're hitting the ground running. So looking forward to getting those documents executed and moving on.
I understand we're getting ready to have a horse trail ride. I don't know if you're involved in that or if it's Paul or who, but we probably need to find out where we stand on that deal.
Yeah, that's what we need to know. I thought at one time it was gonna have it 30th this month, but does anybody know? Horse trail ride.
What I have found out is that there's a Broken Saddle Club that has been scheduling rides simultaneous to what the county's been doing. And I think they have a ride scheduled for that particular day. There hasn't been a lot of promotion done on that from the county side. So my recommendation would probably be to encourage folks to go and participate in that other ride.
Well, Paul needs to know because he's up there cutting weeds and working on the road, and if you ain't gonna have no ride, ain't no use to work him up there.
Send Trigger home.
Now, Paul's asked me, and I told him to let him know today in the court meeting, you know what you gonna do.
There doesn't seem to be a lot of interest that I've seen from the people I've talked to. But that's your all's call. If you want to do it, we'll do it. If you don't, we'll encourage them to go do it on the ride up at upper part of the county.
Well, every time they ever do it, they always have 7,500 riders, but you've not advertised it any, and
I thought a while back that they set something up for the 30th September.
I don't think
I never
the
heard no more
tourism
about it.
folks usually do the promotion on that. I don't think they prepared anything, or nothing's really been communicated on it, so.
Last year it was pouring the rain, and they still had a pretty good turnout, didn't they, Paul?
Yeah, we had a good turnout.
And
It rained that
wasn't it-
Friday, but Saturday was nice.
it didn't rain at all up on the riders, did it?
No.
I mean, it cleared off.
The whole day was nice when we had the ride last year.
Yeah.
I got another question as I was thinking about what you told me earlier on the condemning the road there for on the Walker Road, wouldn't that be the county attorney's deal, not the road commissioners?
Well, we'd have to, I'm assuming we'd have to vote to do it.
So we want to just get appraisal on, said, and then we need to know the width of the road, 12 foot, is that agreeable with the court?
We're gonna have to, I've kind of deferred to you, to be honest with you. The problem, we don't have a problem, I don't think, building a bridge. It's just, is it gonna be cost effective? And if we, are we just gonna, how much money are we gonna spend? I think it's gonna, it's obviously a financial issue.
Right.
I don't think anybody has a problem helping, getting the bridge built, but, are we gonna spend 40, 50, 60,000 on a bridge, 40, 50, 60,000, on a condemnation process? It's just, at some point, we're gonna have to.
For someone to give an appraisal, I need to know what the court wants for the width of the road there. And I'm assuming Mr. Walker's donating his land, to the cause.
Yeah, we can we got plenty of time because it's not gonna be built this year. It won't be built actually this fiscal year. So we've got until next July or August before we even have to talk about it again, to be honest with you.
You gotta decide too, is that gonna be a 10 or 16-foot wide road all the way from 194? And then you gotta show it, who does the appraisal, you're gonna have to change. The road goes in like this, then across.
Yeah, it's not gonna be something we can
Have to make
do.
a curve to you hit the bridge straight, so that's something that they'll need to know when they do the appraisal to do the condemnation.
Yeah.
All that information that appraiser needs to know, and then if you're gonna do the whole road.
Yeah, like say, build a house, you know what size house you're going at.
Yeah, and is that road gonna be, you gonna leave it the 10 foot to the bridge and then widen it out, or is it gonna be?
Another, we can talk about it today if you want to, it doesn't matter, but I think another issue is if we're gonna build a bridge, I think they're gonna go right back into the creek. Weren't they, Brian? And I don't think we really got past the other side of the bridge, because I think they wanted, if they're coming out of the holler, they're gonna be.
You still gotta go through the creek.
Still gotta go through the creek to get to the new bridge, on the other side, so.
Yeah, he's agreed to take that out of the creek, which that should have been done a long time ago, even before a bridge is built. That road needs to be out of the creek on his property, really. That would be a good gesture, I think.
I think he's gonna donate his property for the road.
That's what he's told me.
So we got time to do whatever we need to do, but,
We had John Wayne on a horse and he fell off, now we're on a bridge.
Yeah.
I'm lost, boy.
We've talked to that man about that bridge for 2 years. Somebody needs to step up to the plate and tell him where you're gonna build it, or you ain't gonna build it. Ain't need to keep running it back and forth. You know what you're gonna do.
we've had estimates from 20,000 to 40,000 to 750,000. So,
But the first thing that I said a while back, you talk about it, if the court's not willing to condemn the land has to be condemned because that lady is not going to agree.
I've got reservations about condemning the property, but I'm gonna have to think about it.
You're the man.
I appreciate
Yeah.
that, Hillman.
Can you talk to his wife?
I'm sorry?
Have you talked to his wife, his sister? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I've talked to her sister, and I think Jackie's talked to her
I've
sister.
talked to her, and her husband's passed, I think, but now
Yeah.
she is, it's more than, it's not a money issue in the way I read her. She's just got a personal grudge against her brother and the rest of the family. So in that situation, condemnation is the only thing you can solve, that if you're willing to do that.
Well, listen, it's about hungry
Otherwise,
time.
you're just spinning wheels.
Hey, Bill, we was talking about that trail ride, and then we got off of it. We need to know what we're gonna do, so Paul know what he's gonna do. He's got men up there cutting weeds and working on that road. And either need to tell him whether you're gonna have it or you ain't gonna have it. If you're not gonna have it on that day, Jim, maybe you can set a date up in October to have it. I don't know what to
I believe
deal
the
with.
reason they set that up the last of September, because there's a lot of horse rides in October, through Knox County and all around, there's a lot going on.
I know a lot of horse people wanna ride that ride. You remember when
That's the
they,
reason they set up the last of September now.
Paul, will everything from your all side, because I know y'all spend a lot of time getting that trail ready, is it pretty much ready to roll
Yeah, we'll be ready to roll. We just gotta see if you're gonna have it, because we gotta get to.
So the issue is,
Some idea
we
who's
feel
gonna
like
cook
we got
food?
enough time to communicate it to all the horse people to get what we need to have it.
Well, last year, we had, beans and I think.
Beans, fried potatoes, and,
Pulled pork and cake. I think Freddie Lewis maybe donated,
the jail
or had
helped us out
them
with
cook beans and
beans
kraut,
and
didn't he?
and potatoes and, sauerkraut, I believe that's sauerkraut.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good meal, and cornbread.
And then I think we had a bunch of pork briskets prepared by county, didn't we?
Terry
Rogers done that.
Terry Rogers fixed the bread.
And we had very few volunteers to help that day. And, that's one thing you need to see some help up there.
Very few of us, yeah.
Yeah. I think it was all men, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But
Next week, it's supposed to be next Saturday week, that's the reason we.
supposed to happen at the last of this month.
When they first started talking it back a couple months ago, it was supposed to be, last Saturday this month.
I guess I don't know.
Have it. Have it. Just go forward having it. And, Paul, just go forward having the horse ride, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Let us know what
We'll
you
have to
need
get
going
in
forward.
contact with, we'll get with Terry, get in contact with the jail, see if they're gonna help us over there with the meal and.
And the ones that's gonna volunteer to help, they need to be there in time to get in front of the horses.
Right.
Right.
They get mad when you get behind them and they're riding that trail. They'll kick a far out of you, them horses will.
Do I have a first and a second on adjournment?
Yeah, we adjourn. I think we just got to bring the meeting, there was one other issue we need to discuss about on the lawsuit, and if Brian or Keith, there was a motion I was going to make, but if they wanted to explain to the public, they probably know more about it than I do, just exactly what's going on and what we need to
I really
do.
don't know. Take it. Yep. On the opiates lawsuit, the court wants to go with, what's that law firm's name? Napoleon?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. There were two local attorneys that confronted the court that both spoke for two mega-sized firms and what it is on this opioid lawsuits. You may have seen on TV, the other counties are doing it. Shane Hall was the first to contact me. Of course, he's a partner. I work with him some on the private capacity. He had a firm out of West Virginia who's doing quite a bit of litigation in Kentucky. The other firm has worked through Gary Johnson, who has worked with the court here before on lawsuits against drug manufacturers before and collected quite a bit of money. I deferred to the court. I think both are obviously got big potential. Both companies appear to be very competent. I deferred to the court to, I don't have any recommendation as to which one.
Second.
And so I deferred to the court. I think it's a suit that ought to be pursued. There's been other companies also, I believe the big one out of Jacksonville, Florida, has contacted me through their local office in Prestonsburg. But the two that's contacted us most directly and has actually tendered contracts has been the one from Shane Hall and the company out of West Virginia, and the one from Gary Johnson, who's filed this same litigation before, similar litigation. Brian actually met with one of the companies, and he's also met with, Brian knows quite a bit about the thing as well.
We just need to go ahead and get a local counsel, don't we? That's because of time constraints. And I think are in agreement that we'll use Gary Johnson, then I think maybe use Shane Hall as kind of a local.
I'd requested that Shane Hall, either individually or through my office, be an assistant. That won't cost the county any additional. It will be within the body of the same contract.
Just kind of a contact.
To whatever extent legally possible, privately, and then also whatever legally extent possible through the county attorney's office.
Okay. I'll make that motion that we hire those based on what the county attorney said.
It'll be the.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
One thing I will say too, just for the public, that it's not going to cost the county any money up front. So we're not going to have to spend any money out of pocket to do this.
Did we call it back in session for a roll call on this?
I think that the judge reconvened the meeting
He didn't.
or call it to order.
No,
In order, out of order.
We're still meeting.
We're still meeting.
Yeah, we're still meeting.
Thought we adjourned.
Call his name again.
I think he called it back to order, my understanding.
You ready?
Yeah, my vote's yes.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dodson.
I guess.
Magistrate
Grumbling
Martin.
acceptance.
I guess.
Judge Diskins.
Yes.
Now we need a motion to adjourn.
Now we can adjourn.
Motion.
Roll call.